Africa, I dare to say, what's good for Kafrshuk, this is my village, is good for Egypt, and what's good for Egypt is good for the rest of the world. It's not just a company, it's people. So the regional collaboration could be really providing some good solutions in a world that is facing trade wars, trade restrictions, investment constraints, and complications in dealing simple business. And everybody is basically trying to monitor the outcomes of the elections and their implications of business. And then that gets me into the last solution to the problems of the world that I mentioned: low growth, high inflation, limited trade, limited investment. It's through you, the bilateral relations between two friendly countries, that opened all gates of cooperation with arts, culture, education. I start with that. Investment in health and solutions when it comes to many health-related kind of services. Then investments in machinery, in manufacturing, and there are top-notch producers of machines in Switzerland. And now I would dare to say that through better standards that have been applied in our country, there are many decent products coming as well from Egypt that are qualified, and they do qualify to enter high demanding markets like the Swiss one. Here, if you are in business, congratulations, because it seems that after some good signals of stability that came from the recent IMF deal and some major reforms that have been undertaken, and by the end of the current IMF program that is going to be ending in 2026, you will be seeing that the growth in Egypt is higher than its current average. Bouncing between 3 to 4% is expected to be higher than that, as it should be. Inflation will be much lower, but for people to feel the impact of growth and impact of inflation, we need to open the lines of business in human capital investment, in infrastructure and digital infrastructure investment, and in sustainability, including climate solutions and renewable energy, which is investment again. So these are the sectors that have been highlighted in 2023, and I would say that they would even be more going forward. Travel, tourism, and hospitality. ICT and digital solutions, this is your time. This is the days of AI, and we have very decent infrastructure in this area that have been an outcome of cumulative work of investment in this area. Manufacturing and textile sector, the machinery and the great products, and here there could be a great deal of public-private partnership with the private sector and the public enterprise sector, represented by His Excellency the two ministers here. Construction, transport, and energy solutions. This is another area that Egypt is proud to be working hard on. One of the biggest solar plants in the world is not very far from here, is 1 hour away from us in Aswan. In Za'farana, in Gabal al-Zayt, and other places, we have as well wind farms. Green hydrogen, I know that some investors are interested in this, and this is another opportunity. Then we have the food industry and many others, and I think the names hosting us today are all speaking about not the existent, but the potential enlargement of partnerships. I would say that there could be a great deal of doing more business and encourage more of that in the insurance industry. Switzerland is the leading industry in this field, and then asset management, and there could be some good consideration for this matter. The world is full of many challenges, and it is really tough world, but we learn Egyptians for their survival and doing well in many decades and centuries, and against the odds that every Egyptian still standing on her and his feet. This is basically of resilience and the capacity to do better against the odds. And I'm still, despite the odds, I still believe in this country's potential and its people's ability to do even better. But anyways, the history of watches and making watches in Switzerland is a story of resilience, innovation, and dealing with disruption. And I dare to say that and I'll end with this, in the presence of Her Excellency, the Ambassador, and all of the Swiss citizens in the room. In 1541, Calvinism was there. And the followers of Calvin, a very good priest, teaching people that ostentation is bad, that you need to be humble in your way of life. The jewelry makers, who were the best in the world in Geneva, suddenly they were prevented to show their products. Many of them left as far as to Istanbul, to around the world. But some of them remained resilient. And then some people came with the idea of mixing the jewelry making with the articraft with watches. And then the followers of Calvin, they say, well, the practical use of this new device is much bigger and more important than the ostentation part. So here, how can you change a crisis, pushing people into migration, into bankruptcy, in losing business, into an opportunity that made today Switzerland not just an ordinary jewelry maker, but a top maker? I hope one day, and that day will not and should not be far, that my country can be as proud of not just making watches, but in seeking partnership based on science, education, learning, knowledge, investing in them all, investing more in digital transformation and infrastructure, investing more in resilience.